So for this project, we are going to be doing the mixture. Basically for this, what we're going to do is combine two man-made objects and two objects from nature.
So when we go to set our document up in Pixlr, the first thing that you guys want to make sure you're using is the advanced E setting. I think the other one's called Playful X. Always make sure you're using the E setting. The other thing, before we actually start doing this, make sure you guys have done your other projects first. Make sure you've done your desktop design and the window to another world. The reason why is we're going to use skills from both those projects and we're going to kind of build off of that for our mixture here. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit create new. And then over here where it says name, I want you to call it mix, M-I-X, and then your last name. Your width is going to be 2100. Your height is going to be 1600. So when you add your images, remember you can either add image layer or you can hit edit paste. And ultimately, you guys are going to have two objects that are man-made and two objects that are from nature. So, man-made objects could be an article of clothing, an instrument, a vehicle, a toy, a tool. However you choose to interpret that, that's totally up to you. And objects from nature, that could be an animal, it could be a plant, it could be stone. Again, however you choose to interpret it is up to you. So I'm going to go ahead and add a couple layers here. And just for the sake of demonstration, I've already cut these out. So I have a sock and a squirrel, and I've already cut both these out just so you guys aren't waiting on me to do that part of the demonstration. When you do cut things out, this is something that we learned in our desktop design. You can use your eraser, you could use one of the cutout tools, be it the magic cutout or a lasso. However you guys choose to do it, that's totally up to you. So at this point I have two layers. And remember, you're going to end up having at least four because you're going to have two man-made objects and two objects from nature. But just for our demonstration here, we're just going to start with these two. The first thing that I want to do is I want to resize these so that they kind of match up with each other. So I'll take my sock here, and I want it to look like my squirrel is kind of growing out of the sock. And what I want to look for is kind of lines that will match up. So if you notice here on the back side, the squirrel's tail kind of rolls right down here into the sock. And on the front side, the squirrel's belly sticks out a little bit. So I might shrink my squirrel down a little bit, and that looks a little better. You can see now that the line of his stomach kind of lines up with that front of the sock, and then the back side, the tail here, kind of lines up with the back of the sock. And that'll just make your mix go a little more smooth. The next thing that you guys want to do is you actually want to adjust the color of your images. The closer the colors are of these two, the better that this is going to work out for you. So as you can see, my sock is a little more of a yellowish brown color. My squirrel is a little more gray. So I'm going to go up here to my adjustments, and this is the same way that we adjusted the backgrounds of our windows. So I'm going to go to adjustment. I'm going to go down to where it says color balance, and I'll just tinker with this a little bit. So again, I want to try to get more of a yellowish glow here on my squirrel. So I might boost my red a little bit, maybe bring up my green. And that's a little bit closer, and that'll work pretty well for us. Even if it's not perfect, that's okay because we're going to do some blending here in just a second, and really it'll smooth it all out. So when you guys are satisfied with your colors, what we're going to do is we're actually going to do our blending with our eraser here in Pixlr. Now, if we were using Photoshop, we would use something called layer masking, which really is a much more effective way to do this. But again, we're kind of working with what we got here. So we're going to use our eraser, but we're going to make a few changes to our eraser. The first change that we're going to make is right here, where you click to change the size. We're going to turn this option that says softness, we're going to turn the softness up. And basically what that does is that makes the edge of your eraser, instead of being kind of like a sharp edge on your circle, it makes it a little bit fuzzy. And this works really well when we go to actually blend. The other change that we're going to make is right here where it says opacity. Currently your eraser's opacity is set at 100%. When it's set at 100%, that means when you erase, it's going to whoop, 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 take away solid chunks. Okay. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to turn that opacity to down around 20% or so. And that way, when you erase, instead of taking something away completely, what it does is it just kind of fades it out. And that's really what we want with our blend. So basically, we're going to start kind of taking our eraser back and forth, and we're trying to fade out this bottom edge of our squirrel. And we're trying to create this nice transition from one object into the other. You don't want it to be a solid line. You want it to be a nice, smooth pass between the sock and the squirrel, or whatever images you've chosen to blend. And so I'm just going to fade these out, fade out, fade out. Zoom out a little bit, see how this is looking. It's not looking too shabby. Not bad for a Photoshop knockoff, huh? And basically, you'll keep working that until you're satisfied with your blend. So the next thing that you guys can do once you actually have your blend done in a way that you're satisfied with is you can combine your layers together. That way you can move your combination around as one image. Now, when you do that, you want to make sure you are finished, because if you go to merge your layers and then a little bit later you're like, I'm not really feeling the way I blended it, it doesn't really look good, I need to keep doing that, you're not going to be able to do that. So don't merge your layers until you're absolutely sure you have a nice blend. Okay, so to merge your layers, what you're going to do is you're going to right click on your top layer here. And then down here, you'll see a little button that says merge down. It's the little arrow with the lines underneath it. And when you do that, what it does is it combines your layers together. So now your squirrel and your sock, or my squirrel and my sock, are one picture that I can resize and move around as one. From here, it kind of gets easy. You're just going to repeat this process. Remember, you have to have 2 man-made objects and 2 objects from nature. And typically when we do this in graphic arts, we kind of build a background up. Unfortunately, Pixlr doesn't totally have the tools we need to do this. So you guys are just going to add any sort of background that you want to it. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here. This is my image that we typically work with. Again, this is our kind of a demo that we use in Photoshop. And it's finished, so I'm just going to show you guys again how to save. I know we've done this a couple times, but just so you remember how to do it properly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here where it says File, and I'm going to pick the option that says Save. Now where it says File Name, again, this should say Mix and then your last name. Under File Type, you want to select JPEG, that's JPG. Over on Quality, we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn that all the way up and make sure you've clicked on High Quality. When all that is done, you're going to hit the button that says Download. We can get rid of our little ads here. Now, when you do that, when you hit download, what that's going to do is it's going to put it in the downloads folder on your computer. So I know some people have struggled with submitting. So to submit your assignment, unfortunately, I can't really do a video demo for you because my Schoology page looks a little bit different than your guys' Schoology page. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to the Dropbox for the mixture. You're going to click on the assignment and hit Submit Assignment. And under Submit Assignment, you're going to have 3 options. You're going to have Upload, Create, and Resources. You want to go to Upload, and directly underneath where it says Upload, there's a little button that says File. That's what you want to click on. You want to click the little File button. And you should be able to find this, again, in your Downloads folder on your computer. And if you guys struggle with anything about that, feel free to email me or send me a message on Schoology, and hopefully we can get it sorted out.